done with Battlefront?
I'm not enjoying it.
Okay. That's a reason.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And you know, there's like the shooting is all right. You know, I think it looks great and all this stuff, but the action feels so shallow to me that I just don't want to keep playing it. I'm not invested enough in the setting.
Yeah. I think that has to be a key part of it, right?
And a lot of the larger modes are just not things that I want to play.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like the smaller modes are the ones I'm going to gravitate towards, and those are just kind of boring. And then on top of all that, the progression, like the unlock stuff, is not compelling. So like that, there's no like carrot on a stick in the progression end of it, but also just like the core of it is not much fun either.
Yeah. You mean in terms of like the stuff like new gear rolls out too slowly, or what you're
the
getting
new gear
is
not especially interesting.
Okay.
From what I've played of it and seeing, you know, Dan had leveled up higher and unlocked some more of that stuff. There was some more stuff that they had in the beta and all that sort of stuff. Like it's just the core shooting and map design and all that sort of stuff is just not good enough for me to want to stick with it. Yeah. And I don't care enough about Star Wars for that to like help.
I think that has to carry like a good portion of that game.
I think
from what I've seen of it.
That's I think that, you know, that would go a long way with the right kind of person, I guess.
I've been playing a little bit here and there, and like I won't like this. I feel embarrassed to even admit this, but like first couple hours, I very much flashed back to like the night that I downloaded the Dark Forces demo from some BBS, and like just fetishized the act of like raising that blaster and shooting it at things. You know, like forget what I'm shooting it at, or like what the challenges are that I'm facing, or what any of these other mechanics are. Like literally, just the look and feel of shooting that gun is enough for me to be happy about this.
Sure, yeah. But I would also say, you know, I mean, obviously, like, you know, times have changed and standards have changed and blah, 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 but Dark Forces is a better game than Battlefront.
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't even argue with that. Because, I mean, it has a campaign.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you know, the actual control, and, you know, they've made the act of firing those weapons fun enough and that sort of stuff. But, you know, if they had actually built a full-on campaign, I think that would have done well for them.
You know, it did have a campaign?
What's that?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, so for
the Xbox.
Yeah, you were out, Jeff, on Friday, but Drew played original Battlefront on UPF on Friday, and I had never seen that game up close before. And I was sitting there watching you play that and just going like, why didn't they just do this?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they just because correct me if I'm wrong, like that campaign in that game is just a bunch of multiplayer matches with AI, right?
Yeah.
When you're on the ground shooting at stuff, it's the same as what you would be doing online, right?
And there's like, it's basically a thin strategic film layered over multiplayer maps, but at least it's something.
Because there's that, like you're...
and they've got like 1-player and 2-player like co-op versus AI modes in the new Battlefront.
Well, the thing he's talking about is like and you know, you can elaborate on this, but like there's like an aspect of like taking planets. There's like territory control in Battlefront where you're like you go down to fight a couple missions in the interest of claiming that planet for your faction, right?
And then like, that planet will then give you bonuses in your next battle that you get to choose from like a map of the solar system.
Yeah,
like while you were playing it, somebody in chat was saying like it's possible to blow up planets in that strategic mode and stuff like that. Like even like that, even something like that would have added a whole lot of. Like, I hate to use the word value because it sounds so like 90s video game review, but like it would have fleshed that package out.
Yeah,
in a way that it needs.
That maybe would have been enough because it's like they have some amount of bot AI in there,
right?
And that sort of stuff. Right. I mean, you know, they could have. I mean, they could have done a lot of things right, but they didn't. They chose to focus on, you know, what they chose to focus on, and I think that's a really thin game. Yeah. And I just, you know, I got a few hours in and was just like, you know, this is well made, but I have no desire to play any more matches of any of these modes.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that.
And
like,
got out of it, you know. It was
thin is the word, I think. Because you're right. Like, it does play really well. Like,
yeah.
I feel like pointing and shooting at stuff. Like, I don't understand why they didn't feel like they could just, like, animate the gun coming up to your face when you aim down the sights, though. Like, I don't know why they have to go to that weird dissolve into zoom in mode. Is that just is that a throwback to old Battlefront, or?
I don't know.
Is there some reason that you can't
not
aim
if your crosshair isn't like affixed to the top of the screen?
Yeah, that was a weird.
What was that about?
A weird choice for sure. But yeah, I didn't know if there was like some weird reason that you can't show a Star Wars character aiming down the sights of their weapon or something.
I don't really know. But yeah, it's that game
is weird. Like it tries to straddle both, it, like wrangle in like casual players and then also hardcore Battlefield dudes, and I just sit somewhere in the middle, and I don't think either.
I think that it's one of those things where it's like there are elements of it that should be cooler than they are. Like I feel like the hero control stuff should be a lot cooler than it is.
Okay.
It's like because it's like, oh well, I'm Luke Skywalker now, and I can sort of block lasers with this, and I'm just this kind of overpowered unit, and I can kill Boba Fett with my lightsaber.
On paper, that sounds awesome.
On paper, that whole game sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the actual act, I think, the movement with a lot of the hero units and stuff, like the Emperor with his weird
he's just
floaty ghost jumps and just like
Psycho
all that stuff
Crusher.
just looks fucking corny. And, I think that stuff just seems like kind of, it feels like a mod. It feels like someone said they should put fucking Luke Skywalker in this. And then they modded it in, and it's kind of janky, and you go like, well, at least they tried. And then the vehicle stuff, I think all the A-Wings and TIE Fighters and all that, I think they just fucking control terribly. Like the camera is just this weird, you just can't see the ground well enough. So it's like, unless you're in an air-to-air combat situation where you're locking onto other targets and stuff like that, like it's just not fun.
Okay. As like a standalone game is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, as like a bonus, or as like compared to like Battlefield vehicles.
Yeah.
Which you feel like you have more control over what you're doing in them and stuff like that. These just feel like they're all over the place, a little too fast for the size of the map. Like you're just cruising over shit before you get a chance to really try to dive bomb anyone or anything like that. Okay. Obviously, you get better as time goes on, but that stuff just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. So it's like stuff that should be these like big moments of like,
right.
Oh man, I've got an X-Wing. Oh shit, I'm in a TIE Fighter.
Yeah.
I'm Darth Vader. Like these things that should be these like amazing moments instead feel like they came out of, instead feel like, they're not done yet. And they are still need some time to smooth those things out. It's like, oh, the core of it, you Stormtrooper versus generic Rebel man firing at each other is fine.
Bumping one another.
But everything else just feels like not fully cooked.
It's a shame.
Yeah, like a lot of the criticism I've seen about that game is like especially as it was about to come out, like people kind of snidely saying like, "Oh, it's just a Star Wars skin for Battlefield," but like
it's not even
that.
No,
it's like as I play
way
it,
more stripped down.
Yeah. Like as I play it, I think to myself like, if they had actually just done that, that could be amazing.
Totally.
Galactic Conquest,
right?
Yeah, because I think Battlefield fans would be really turned off by how simple this game is.
Right, absolutely. Like you were saying, they try to treat the vehicles just like a power-up scenario as opposed to like having the vehicles physically exist in the map and being something you can run up to and interact with.
It's messed up because there are literally X-Wings on some of the maps that you can walk up to and look at.
But you can't.
But you can't get in them.
Right. But I mean, if they had used the literal Battlefield template of just like spawning vehicles in, like have them everywhere, just like these massive battles with like all this freedom.
But I think that would have been way more complicated for the type of person they're trying to reach. Like they're not trying to speak to the Battlefield audience because those people, are a little, let's say, a little more hardcore than you would want to pitch to with this big mass market Star Wars game.
Sure, that's fair.
Like they made a big mass market Star Wars game that's just like, they wanted it to be super easy that anyone could get into. The aim assist is incredibly generous. Like they wanted to make a game that was way more accessible than even Call of Duty is.
Yeah,
I think
it feels like it's sliding into that kind of slot though, right? Like just the loop of like the kind of the feel of like everything from the respawn timer to how fast people go down when you shoot them and stuff. Like it all feels Call of Duty-esque to me.
A little bit, yeah, I think so. But it's not quite. It's still, I think, even a little more kind of
generous.
Yeah. Like it's a design. I feel like they were trying to make it accessible, and I feel like at some point they made a game that doesn't actually appeal to either fans of shooters. It's like, I think the ideal fan for that is someone who just wants to see Star Wars stuff and doesn't really care about the canon of said Star Wars stuff. They're just like, look at that Stormtrooper. Oh man, that's Han Solo. Look at that guy.
I just want to shoot a blaster.
Yeah, totally. Like if you just want to hear the blaster noises and then occasionally go like, oh fuck man, I was Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And you're not like super picky about what you want out of shooters and games, then yeah, totally Battlefront is for you. Which is faint praise, I suppose.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Like I said, once in a while those elements are enough to like kind of make you feel sort of tingly.
Once in a while those things come together in a way that even me, not being a big Star Wars fan, I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, same here.
Like there are things that happen, you're like, shit, man.
Yeah.
You hear stories about people that just like, oh, I was Luke Skywalker and I jumped up and cut a fucking TIE fighter and it blew up.
Right.
That's fucking.
Or there was
like,
that.
all right, that's cool.
There was that Vine floating around like the day before it came out of like force pushing a stormtrooper off the side of a hill right into the path of an oncoming TIE fighter, and they both explode.
Yeah.
And you saw that, and you were just like, "Oh my god, this could be incredible." But like, moments like that are very few and far between.
Yeah, generally it's like, especially on the larger maps, it's just like, well, it's like you're doing the Battlefield thing of like, I'm running halfway across this map to where the action is, and oh shit, I shot some people and then I got shot.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to respawn and run halfway across this map again, and oh shit. You know, it's like, it's just that over and over again in some of those modes, and that's not great.
Yeah, it can be fun, but yeah, it doesn't have a lot of staying power.
Man.
Yeah.
It definitely, it seems like a game that should have been better.
Yeah. Well, they've got like 4 expansion packs scheduled because you can like look at those on the menu already.
It's kind of nasty.
Like, I wonder
like the way that gets promoted in game. It's like a top level menu item, like season pass.
Yeah,
it's like kind of funky.
Like right below the find match button, essentially.
Yeah,
is the kind of link to the call to action to go buy the season pass.
Right, and they're adding heroes and maps and stuff like that. But like I don't think heroes and maps actually broaden the palette.
Needs.
Yeah, it's not what that game needs.
It doesn't need more content. It needs more like design work. Like, it needs more
modes.
I think it has a ton of modes. It just needs tuning or something. Like the feel of it is just wrong in a lot of cases. For as speaking of someone who plays a lot of console shooters, it just doesn't appeal to
some more depth.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how that sells.
I bet it'll do quite well. I bet it'll do I don't know. Maybe word of mouth would have an impact there. I feel like that's been mixed. I mean, you definitely see people that are just like, oh man, this is everything I ever wanted, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. And then you see people that are like, this is a lame shooter.
They're like snapping their discs in half.
Oh, yeah. Right.
They're done with it.
Yeah. Well, not all of us have the social media reach for that to make such an impact.
That's true.
But
is this the Breaking Benjamin thing you guys are talking about?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I didn't
posted something on Instagram of a broken Battlefront disc and said, EA tried to pay me to say this game was good, but they ruined Star Wars, blah, blah, it should be better, so fuck them. Like, it was this weird, like, take a stand thing from this band I didn't even realize was still together.
Is that a dude or a band? I don't even know.
So the guy's name, I think, is Benjamin.
Okay.
And I believe the band name is
yes, there was
Benjamin,
just all I know is there was a broken Battlefront disc all over my Twitter feed this morning.
Yeah, that happened at some point over the weekend. But and then, I mean, the
only reason I know that name is because they were on the Halo 2 soundtrack.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was that band.
So they've been around for a while.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
Huh.
Like, and that's why I say, like, I was surprised that they were still together. Is because they seem like they're of that era or something. But yeah, there were some stories about that were saying like, EA's trying to pay people to say the game is good. It's like, guess what most video game publishers and makers of products have been doing with celebrities on Twitter for years and years and years.
Yep.
Like, what do you think Nicole Richie was doing with Lego Dimensions?
Yeah.
Right. What do you think like Melissa Joan Hart is doing when she's tweeting about liking the WWE?
Right.
Apparently she's legitimately a fan.
Okay. I'm sure that helps.
But like, what do you think when they have the Charlie Sheen is the guest host of WWE Monday Night Raw and he's going to be live tweeting it all day? What do you think they're trying to do there? Yep. Like, this is not widespread. This is the way of things.
Yeah.
The scarier thing is that EA was so, like, all over the totem pole on that thing. They're like, yeah, the lead singer of Breaking Benjamin, he's a tastemaker we want to get out there and spread the message of Star Wars Battlefront.
Right. Just say they're hitting it at all levels.
Yeah, like, that's maybe the crazier thing. But it's like Jerry from Penny Arcade like reminded me, like, there are price lists of that stuff out there. You can find celebrities and the amount of money it requires for them to tweet about your item, and there are FTC regulations that are now in place. These are real regulations, I think, not just like guidelines that say you're supposed to disclose them, and it's like hashtag ad or like make it clear that these are ads and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of people don't, and it's that's the world that we live in, and it has been for that time. So for people to go like, oh, we're blowing the lid off this EA controversy, it's like, no, their marketing team is doing what all marketing teams do now.
Yep.
And like, that's sleazy and fucking weird, but hardly new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I don't know. Who cares?
Indeed.
Battlefront doesn't need help one way or the other.
Sure.
It kind of exists as this middling thing on its own.
It'll probably be fine. The only
And they're already talking about a sequel.
to this game.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, we get back at this bad on this one. Which of
Well,
course.
I mean, like it's not the worst foundation to work from.
Oh, totally.
Like
It's the Frostbite engine. Is
Yeah,
the,
the game looks fucking incredible. Like,
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, it looks
It really does.
staggering.
And they've got they've got people there that have made quality shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they could build on this for sure.
Yeah.
But like this for me is no more than like I'm gonna squeeze off a couple rounds when I get home before I have to make dinner or whatever. Like just real casual.
I thought
basic
I
thing.
thought that it was going to fill that void for me
Yeah.
for some chunk of time, but that chunk of time ended up to be an evening.
Jeez. Okay.
So
All right.
yeah. So like I said, I just don't have a shooter. I'm at a point where I'm kind of I'm thinking about maybe seeing if people are still playing Advanced Warfare.
Wow. Huh.
I might be one of those people that is
Yeah.
playing the not latest
last
Call
year's
of Duty game,
That's how you know you're old.
which is a weird place to be in.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just get into Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah.
No.
Sure. That came out this year. That still counts.
That counts.
That's
for
still
this year,
correct.
but
That came out this year.
That
Yeah.
came out in March.
Yeah.
That was like a March
Jeez.
release, that thing.
It's been a long year, right?
Right?
Yeah.
After The Order.
God, yeah. Yeah, man, we're going to have to go back and look back on the full year of games at some point
The Order.
and have a whole bunch of moments like that. Just going
Man.
like, that came out this year? Wow.
Let's talk about, oh my God. The Order.
Just take your life off one game release at a time. Yeah.